It began the way most dangerous things begin now, quietly, late at night, and disguised as something harmless. Noah was alone in his room, the glow of his laptop screen the only light cutting through the darkness. A friend had sent a link in a group chat with the warning, "Don't open this," which naturally meant Noah opened it almost immediately. Curiosity at 2 in the morning has a way of feeling safe, like consequences belong to a different time of day. The page that loaded was painfully simple. There were no colors, no menus, no logos. Just a title at the top that read Requests. Beneath it stretched a list of short entries written in plain language. The simplicity of it made the page feel colder, like it had nothing to prove. Noah told himself he would only read a few lines before closing the tab, but minutes passed before he realized he hadn't moved at all. The next day he told Mira, expecting her to laugh at how dramatic he sounded. Mira didn't laugh. She asked why he hadn't closed the site immediately and warned him that places like that were designed to trap curious people. She believed some parts of the internet worked like doors that should remain closed, not because they were magical, but because someone on the other side wanted them shut. Noah promised he would forget about it, but the memory of the page lingered in his thoughts like a splinter he couldn't remove. That night, the email arrived without warning. There was no subject line, no greeting, and no signature, just a single sentence that read, "You viewed the requests." Noah reread the message again and again, searching for something that would make it feel less personal. Instead of deleting it, he examined the technical details, hoping to find a harmless explanation. There was none. The message felt like proof that someone had noticed him looking. Jonah became involved soon after. Where Mira saw danger, Jonah saw a puzzle. He believed anything on the internet could be traced and understood if you followed the right path. To him, the email was a challenge rather than a threat. Mira argued that curiosity could be dangerous, but Noah found himself drawn toward Jonah's confidence. The idea that the mystery could be solved felt comforting, even as a quiet sense of dread settled in the background. Jonah eventually discovered a hidden directory within the website, buried deep enough that most visitors would never find it. The directory contained an archive labeled as completed requests. Each entry was brief and vague, but the pattern was undeniable. The site had existed for years, quietly documenting requests that someone, somewhere, had fulfilled. Noah stopped thinking of the page as a strange curiosity and began to see it as something alive and persistent. Soon, small changes began creeping into his daily routine. A car parked across the street longer than usual. A stranger lingering near him in the grocery store. Footsteps behind him that stopped whenever he turned around. Each moment seemed harmless in isolation, but together they formed a pattern that was impossible to ignore. Noah began to feel as though the act of visiting the site had shifted something in his life, like stepping into a spotlight he couldn't see. The second email arrived 2 days later. It read, "You stayed longer than most. Curiosity is valuable." Mira begged him to stop reading the messages, but curiosity had already taken root too deeply. When Noah opened the site again, a new entry appeared at the top of the list. It included his name. The argument that followed divided the group. Mira wanted to disconnect completely, to unplug every cable and forget the entire experience. Jonah insisted they continue investigating. Noah found himself caught between fear and fascination. Before they could decide, a timer appeared on the website, counting down without explanation. They watched the numbers fall in silence, unable to look away. When the timer reached 0, the page refreshed and displayed a set of coordinates. This was the moment they could have stopped. They could have closed the laptop and walked away. Instead, they got in the car. The drive to the location felt longer than it should have, the roads emptier than usual. The coordinates led them to a warehouse on the outskirts of the city, a silent structure that seemed to wait for them. Inside, the air smelled of dust and metal. In the center of the room stood a table with a phone resting on its surface. The phone rang once before falling silent again. In that moment, Noah understood something he wished he had realized earlier. The requests had never been meant for strangers. They were meant for the people who kept looking. The three of them left the warehouse quickly, not waiting for the phone to ring again. Days passed in silence. No emails arrived. No messages appeared. Life slowly returned to something resembling normal. Then one night, Noah opened his laptop and saw the website already displayed on the screen. At the top of the page was a new entry containing only 3 words: "Request accepted, Noah."